Welcome to the Creative Entrepreneur Show. What do we have this week, Bryon?
Hey Rosh, happy to be here. And spring has sprung naturally here in Michigan. It's going to be 80 today, and I'm thinking about summer. And you know what we're doing in our house? We are using AI to help plan our summer. So I want to
Nice.
go into some cool details and stuff we're doing there. I want to just talk about how we're using AI on our mobile devices and give some advice, to our listeners. And then also there's some really cool news going on with Apple and ChatGPT. So want to shed some
Yeah,
light on that. What do you have going
yeah,
on today?
no, that'll be good. I think we're in the same groove here. I wanted to share a number of things that I've done over the last week, different things that I've done personally and with clients using AI. And then also that just got me thinking about what is next. And there's a few things that are happening with OpenAI. They're having an announcement coming up probably with while we're doing this podcast, and it's supposed to
Oh,
be a
cool.
huge announcement. But maybe we'll check in. Maybe we can
Yeah, I was gonna
pause.
say we can.
We'll
Yeah,
we'll come back so we're not a week behind. And it's like we talk
fresh.
about the new news last week that everybody knew for a week. So anyway, those are my topics. So maybe let's plan on that, and let's just kind of pause it in about what 10 minutes. But
Sounds
let's
perfect.
first get right to your topics.
All right, cool. Yes. So, summers is coming right now, and we've got a toddler, and we're really interested in STEM material,
Hmm.
to teach him science, mathematics, different things like that. But, we don't necessarily want to send him away to a full-on STEM school.
Right.
So we're using AI to develop some STEM curriculums and some budget-friendly STEM things we can do at
Nice.
home. And
Nice.
yeah, it was pretty cool. There's a lot of really good suggestions in there. And, you can work with the budget back and forth, obviously. I mentioned a few weeks ago that my wife used it for garden bed planning, and the
Yes.
garden already starting to pop and looking good.
Nice.
So that's been
Good.
great. Vacation planning. This is the next step for vacation planning rather than just trying to Google and figure, your way out, or maybe hoping to find a good blog about, fun things to do in a certain area. Instead of that, ask your AI the right questions to plan your vacation and give it all the variables, all the caveats, hey, I'm traveling with a toddler, or I don't like roller coasters, or, whatever it is
Yeah,
that you
right.
throw in there. So yeah, definitely use your AI to plan your vacation. A lot of people, when it's summertime, they're going to be hosting a lot of events and having people over. And if you're looking for suggestions of food, maybe something different, you want to break the mold of what you would traditionally serve. I know we've got our few go-tos when people come over. And if you're looking for something to really get the conversation going, ask AI of different ways to, theme your party or have, different food or make the music match, different things like that. And then my last one is, I mentioned budget earlier. You can find more budget-friendly activities. So, I know that inflation's hitting a lot of different people and some things are really expensive. I know, McDonald's is up 100% over the last 3 or 4 years. So, there's a lot of things that are getting more expensive. So let's
Yeah.
use the AI to save money. And with your budget friendly activities, one of my favorite things I've liked to do is open up the fridge, take a picture of it, upload it to AI, and say, what can I make?
That's great. Think of all
And
the things you could do like that
yeah,
with just a simple photo.
exactly. Yeah. So, that's just some ways to kind of train our brain to look at this summer with all the activities. And, it's great, especially speaking from Michigan. We live for the summer. And
Yeah.
this is, our whole year we wait for this. And, try to make your summer something out of the ordinary by asking AI to suggest some different things. And, using different ones, using ChatGPT, using Gemini, using Perplexity, get some different answers from some different
Yeah.
AI programs if you feel like you're getting the same answers from the same
Right.
one.
Right.
I was watching my wife earlier today, just playing on Gemini, getting answers for different things and
Hmm.
going through, and it's become so integral to our process and to both our work and our home life.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, you said you've been using what are some of the new unique things that you've been using
Sure.
AI?
Just to before I get into mine, just some of the stuff that you had mentioned, creating the party that a lot of times we have to entertain. Maybe we're entertaining clients, maybe we're entertaining other creatives, we're networking in the community and coming up with unique ideas and cost-effective ideas. Sometimes cost effective is really important when you're in a creative business. And so I think that was a good idea. I mean, you're talking about home, but that a lot of those things can be applied to everyday creative, whether it's business or just your creative life. And I
Right.
thought that was really good.
Yeah, one of the
Hey,
prompts that
yeah,
I really liked, just to sorry to interject there,
no, no,
was
fine.
to bootstrap, that kind of that
Oh,
theory of,
yeah,
trying to make it as cheap as possible using all the different things. You use that in your prompt to, get it back and it understands what you're talking about.
nice, very good.
Yeah.
Um, so, I did a few things this week. One thing was for a client that worked out really, really well, and he had a request. And so I worked on that. But I did create some images using Firefly, and I really liked the images. The image quality was excellent. When we go to Dolly, quite often it's still a little cartoonish.
Yeah.
It still has that, but Firefly is just right on. I mean, even the hands pretty good most of the time.
I
It
mean,
gives you
six
four
fingers
options.
is fine. I mean,
Or they're a little wide in the center, things
right,
like that. It's a little alien thing.
right.
But for the most part, the people part, it's really good and gives me what I want. So I used it for a few blog posts that were related. I couldn't find the image that I wanted. I wanted them very specific, and I used them, and they weren't necessarily, they're kind of the SEO blog posts out there. So it didn't matter. It wasn't necessarily representing my client's company or me specifically. It was more of a link development kind of a thing. And it worked out well. And in that situation, I'll often do the other thing. I did this for both me, one of my websites, my photography websites, as well as a client website. And that's, of course, using AI for um, just general writing foundational elements, and then build in and rewrite it a little bit. But it gives you some nice topics to work from. I also used AI for titles for my latest YouTube video, just
Perfect.
to think about what are some of the different ways I could, for example, and I think this is a good trick that maybe I think a lot of people should listen to, especially if you want to use AI or excuse me, YouTube to develop your creative business, is to create another video or multiple videos based on your best performing videos. A lot of times you say, "Oh, I already did that." Well, if it's your best performing video, that means you got to do it again if you
Right.
want to keep growing and your best one. So using AI to try to get a very clickable version of the same topic
Mhm.
that's very similar. And that's kind of what I used it for. I used to also used it to condense an article. Somebody sent me an article, and there's a lot there. And so I said, "Hey, here it is. Just give me the high points." And
Too
that
long
was
didn't
great.
read.
I love doing that. It's so
That's
nice,
perfect.
especially the business stuff. And the last one was I used Photoshop to add hair. And believe me, it
To
worked well.
yourself?
No, it was for a client.
Okay.
And I used the Photoshop beta version, and I said, I need hair. I put in, and I said, just a light. I said, a light amount of hair, just filling it in. Gave me three versions. Two were horrid, but one was perfect.
Oh,
And the
nice.
client loved it because it didn't look outrageous. I just, layered it in there, and it looked just perfect. And so adding hair, I have hope
Yeah.
is going to happen. It's going
Well,
to
at least your
happen.
digital avatars can have it.
Yes. So anyway, so I was thrilled that that worked so well because working with hair is tough as it is in
Mhm.
Photoshop. It's getting so much better that the AIs know how to work with hair and blended this hair perfectly. It didn't look like he had plugs in his head, or was just straight. It was literally just added a little thickness to the hair, and that was
Nice.
tremendous. So
Cool.
there we go.
They of some fun uses. So, throughout the week, I find that I use AI more on my mobile device than I do on desktop.
Hmm.
And I really thought, for our audience, that's some good advice is to install your favorite AI app onto your phone. So I have the full paid version of ChatGPT, and a lot of times I'll post reels for my clients, and I'm going to have to do it from my phone, from the Meta Business Suite app on my phone, and it gives me different tools, different things. So if I need a big collection of hashtags, the 30 hashtags to make that reel pop the right way, I can use AI to, generate that and copy paste it right there on my phone. I don't have to go back and forth between desktop and not. And then, I was on site visiting a place that I used to work 10 years ago. I still do their social media. And I was talking to them about a drone video, and their current social media guy came up to me and, he's just asking me different questions. So I showed him, some of the different tricks and all the different things that I use my ChatGPT app for on my phone. And I even showed him uploading a picture, uploading some documents, different things like that. And, I came up with 10 content creation ideas for him right there on the spot. And he was pretty floored by the fact that, I could get all this information right away. And so we went and immediately downloaded the app, of course. And I told him, I'm like, if you don't pay, you'll have GPT 3.5. It's at least good enough. But if you're doing this every day and, actually doing it for your, work, I suggest, paying the $20 a month and getting the full use out of it. So, yeah, so it's pretty cool. And I love having it on my phone. I have noticed that things like the search on the iPhone and the search in the Facebook app on the iPhone
Right.
now have a little AI symbol. So it's getting integrated more and more.
It is.
And yeah, so like you said, it's not in our toaster yet, but it's
It's
working
getting
its way
close.
there. Right.
Getting close.
So, but yeah, speaking of that, you said, you've got well, what's coming next.
So what's next is that we paused and we listened to the new uh, OpenAI announcement for GPTs and what's happening. And you took notes, so I'm going to lean a little bit on you, but I do know this. The O is for Omni, which is basically like omni-channel all in one. They're trying to make
Right.
the the AI platforms just seamless. They announced a desktop version, and so long Siri,
Yeah.
so and Siri hasn't been that. Siri's okay, but it does what it does. But now I think this whole idea of that everything working together, Dolly 3, um, being able to, I heard them uploading specific charts and being able
Yep.
to do all this stuff. That's pretty cool. But you have a big announcement for the free users.
Yes. So yeah, they just said the GPT 4.0. Now this is not 4.0, it's for lowercase o. Again,
Yep.
like you said, the big announcement that stands for Omni. And it is now all these advanced features that we've been talking about 4.0 for so long with the uploads of images
Right.
are now all available for the free users. So it's a big deal. One of their it seems like OpenAI's mission statement is to provide these tools for free
Yeah.
across the board to just hopefully help society. It's they said it's going to be much more seamless between text and audio and visual. So it's going to be, just like you said, a much more seamless process all across the board.
I
And
think really
again,
where they want to go is just to be able to talk to it. Just
right,
talk to you. You don't even have, I mean, sometimes you may be right, but for the most part, I mean, just like texting is sometimes it's best to text and sometimes it's best to call.
right.
And I think it's going to be the same thing. Sometimes you just talk to it and sometimes you put text in it, but it should all be seamless and you don't have to go to different areas. So go ahead. I cut you
And
off there.
no, that was great. And what they did say is that it's available now. I mean, that's
Yeah.
when they went live. So I'm excited to reopen my Chat GPT and play with it a bit. And I'm sure we will definitely revisit this topic next week and see,
Yeah. A little bit
exactly what
deeper.
kind of
Play with it.
features dive deeper. Yeah, I'm
See what
excited.
happens. And
Um,
I think, that whole idea of, it's going to be in your toaster. Well, here we go. I
yeah.
mean, they're just pulling it all together now to make it seamless. The idea is like, look, we have something good.
Hmm.
They feel that, and it's been said a number of times by Sam Altman, that, yeah, hey, for Chat GPT 4 is going to seem like, a stupid little of a chat bot not too long from now. And that's going to be the case. And now that they're pulling this all together, that'll make it seem that way too, just
Hmm.
because of its abilities to do everything. Hey, make me a picture of a sunrise over the mountains. Okay, here you go.
And write a limerick about it too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And then because have you ever had just a pure conversation with the not typing, just talking back and forth? Have you ever done
With
that?
myself or with the GPT? No, I'm just kidding.
We've all done that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. No, I think a conversation that's hard to, because a conversation I kind of want to get, emotion and different things from
Yeah.
somebody. So I don't think I've quite had like a conversation with it, but I've
Yeah.
definitely used it like advanced research and, prompted it to ask for more. But what
Sure.
about you?
Yeah, no, I've had conversations about different topics, and I mean, the weird thing is the pause. You do have to pause until it's done. You can't interrupt it like I interrupt you. I mean, it needs to be. You need to wait till it's done. It's been great practice. I have to wait. Then I ask a question and go back and forth. Say, hey, do you want to know more? So it's good. You can it can be enjoyable if you get a good rhythm going about a topic. I remember not maybe a number of months ago, I was just talking about, space flight or something, and it was just back and forth sharing it. And it shared ideas about things that were coming up, future plans of NASA that I had no idea.
Oh,
I had to check some of them out, and they were true. So
that's
it was
wonderful.
pretty
Yeah.
good,
Yeah,
so
using, the conversational cues to give you some insight on something else that might be interesting, which is
yeah.
why you have a conversation with somebody.
Exactly. Yeah, I shouldn't
Precisely.
know
Yeah.
all the answers,
Right.
necessarily, or necess the neat thing is, and this is what I've noticed since the early days, is it will even in the 3.5 era, uh, it would know that, hey, you probably want a little more information over here too, although you didn't ask.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, I was always impressed at the fact that I would type it in and half the words were misspelled when I was typing quickly with my thumbs, and it still knew what I meant.
Yes. Yeah. I'm
That
yet
was
to have it
amazing.
yell at me because my grammar is so poor. it's it's
Absolutely.
known. But one last point that I wanted to make today that I think today's announcement does kind of go hand in hand with is the fact that Apple, if you didn't notice, Apple stock took a big jump today because they did announce just a few days ago that they are directly in conversations with OpenAI to have ChatGPT just come regularly installed on the Apple phone. So again, that's that seamless integration. And like
Right.
what you mentioned a few weeks ago, that will AI even be a thing in a few years, or it'll
Right.
just be the way that computing works?
Yeah, and that's a great point to bring back up because that's kind of what this Omni is. That's what
Right.
the O is, just seamlessly being there,
Yeah.
just seamlessly being in your toaster. It's a
Yeah.
seamlessly being wherever you are to be able just to ask a question. Hey, computer, we're looking at, Star Trek here. It's just that kind of a thing. So, yeah.
And one of the other announcements that they had today that I had in my notes too, and I know we had alluded to this when we were talking about Turbo or
Hmm.
4.5 or whatever was coming next, but was the availability to have memories from your
Yes.
previous chats and
Right.
have that carry over. So it's like you've got not just a hire for one day assistant, you've got a full-time assistant that remembers your discretions from 2 months ago.
Excellent. That's what I need.
Exactly.
I have family for that. Don't worry. So,
Exactly. Yeah, the ones that don't forget.
all right. Well, very good. Well,
Yes.
obviously, there's going to be a lot more, and we'll talk about that
Yeah.
in the next show. So, those of you who I will make sure this show goes on YouTube immediately.
Yeah.
I will take the full credit and responsibility for YouTube videos not going up as quick as possible, but I have tested the shorts out, and that was working out well, creating
Great.
their horizontal video into vertical video in the system I'm using. I know some systems are really easy, but I generally use iMovie. And
Okay.
so I need to figure out how to do with that. But anyway, nonetheless, I think we got a good topic already for next week as we
Yeah.
get to work and experiment with what's new. And hopefully you will join us next week.
Sounds good. Yeah. To follow us, it's creativeentrepreneurshow.com and all the different channels and ways to listen. And yeah, we look forward to talking to you next week. Nice.
Perfect.
Cool. Yeah.
All
Let's get
right.
it posted.